Landing your first job in IT is by far the hardest job that you have to get. Getting your next job is exponentially easier, and it's always easier to get a job once you already have a job. Once you're in your IT role, you need to start asking yourself what you're interested in. You need your curiosity to help guide you in this. When I got my first help desk technician role, I was working for a hospital, and I got a little bit of a tour around the entire building and the campus. I got to see the data center, and then the networking guys got to take me around and show me all the data closets, where they're at. And I was really curious about all of this networking gear. So I started asking, what everything is and what it's used for. And, I got to see, this closet full of equipment that I really wasn't sure of what all this was used for and how it worked. So after some time on the job, I started to make friends with the data center guys and the network guys. And I told the networking lead engineer that I was really interested in learning more about what he does and some of the equipment and how everything works. So I just told him that if he ever needs an extra hand with anything, to let me know, and I'd love to help him out. Eventually, one day, he came to me and he said, "Hey, do you still want to give me an extra hand? Because I need to test some cables and I need somebody on both ends." So he gave me the other end of the tester he had, and he took me where he wanted me to go, and he showed me all the cables we're going to test. And we went through this process, and I helped him out, and I did exactly what he said to do. And in the end, we figured out what the problem was, we found the fault, and we kind of celebrated. We went to lunch together, and it gave me an opportunity to get to know him some more. Because I helped him, and because we did such a great job of solving the problem, I did my job well, he came to me again in the future because he needed to replace a bunch of networking equipment. I'm about to date myself here, but we were in the process of upgrading token ring networking to Ethernet networking. So a whole bunch of cool new equipment was shipped to the hospital, and it had to be delivered to all the different locations. There had to be switches specific equipment put in each location. So he had gone through and pre-configured all of the network switches and some of the new routers, and had them labeled and made a campus floor plan of where everything was going to go. And he came to me and asked if I would help him put the equipment where it needed to be. He showed me the map, he showed me what all the equipment was at in his lab, and he basically gave me the responsibility of taking some of that equipment to the closets and putting them there so that he could install them. I did this. I just, I looked at the map, I understood what he wanted, and I took the equipment. Now, again, this still isn't really anything to do with networking. With the first job I did, I helped him by plugging things in and unplugging them. And the second time he asked me for help, I went and took a bunch of equipment that he had and put it where it needed to be. But both of these jobs required to be done correctly. If I didn't do it correctly, then there would be a problem. If I didn't take the networking equipment and put it in the right location, then he would probably come back to me and say, "What the heck, dude? I asked you to put these specific switches in these closets and they're all in the wrong location," and he would never ask me for help again. So I was very thorough. I was very concerned about doing my job correctly, and I did. I continued to go down this road, and then eventually he needed to reconfigure some routers, and he asked me if I wanted to learn how to do it. And there was a point in time where I wanted to learn a lot more about the networking equipment, and because I had made friends with the network engineer, I asked him if he had any I asked him if he had any old equipment lying around that I could play with in like a lab, and he was glad to give me these old switches and an old router, and I started to learn how it works. And I asked him if he had any old books, and he gave me an old Cisco book and an old token ring book. I really didn't need to learn token ring, it was going out the door, but I still got to look at it and learn how it works, and this started my road down network engineering. The point that I'm getting at here is that once I was in the job and in the role, I was able to start making buddies with the networking guys because I wanted to learn networking, and this is something that you can do too. Once you're in that first role, you need to be curious and also figure out what you're interested in. Are you interested in networking? Are you interested in servers or maybe cloud administration? Are you interested in security? There's all sorts of different fields that you can take your career to the next level, And you need to, just be curious and make friends with the guys that are already doing that job. See if you can help them in a way and get into a relationship where they're kind of mentoring you and bringing you up along the road of becoming the next entry-level engineer. By asking what you can do to help and then doing your job correctly, this is going to continue to establish your successful reputation. You're building that reputation that you do what you say you're going to do and that you're thorough and thoughtful about your job. Again, it's super easy to continue to grow your career once you're in a job in IT because there's no timeline, there's no pressure of not being employed. You're basically trying to look at the situation you're in right now and identify ways to make it better, to find a role that you're interested in growing into, taking on new challenges, and trying to figure out a way maybe to earn more money. All of this comes together. If you want to earn more money, you need to learn new skills, you need to take on more responsibility. But curiosity and asking to help and making friends with the guys that are already doing the job that you want is the best route you're going to have to get there. You might not find that there's going to be helpful people in every company that you work for. Unfortunately, some cultures can be really toxic. There's sometimes people that just aren't willing to help. And if that's the case, then you might want to just look to get out of that culture. But we can talk about that in another episode. My takeaway for you today is to take action, be curious about the roles, figure out what you're interested in, make friends with the guys that are already doing that job, offer to help, do your job well, and continue to grow. That's it for this week. If you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe to my channel and give my video a like. I'd love to hear from you in the comments as to what your thoughts are on this and what you want to learn next. And feel free to share my content with some of your friends or family that might be interested in getting into IT. I'm doing this because I like to help people start and build their careers. I've helped a lot of people throughout my career get into IT and take their careers to the next level. And I want to bring that to you here on YouTube. I'll see you next week.